Okay. Welcome, Joe. It's fantastic to see you again. It's been a while.
Yeah,
and I know that you guys are actually focused on insurtech, and I'm really looking forward to this panel tonight. So, but could you tell me a little bit about what you've seen in the insurtech area, domain, and what sort of startups you've been investing in?
Yeah, so we've seen quite a bit in the insurtech space in the last year and a half. It's really been a sector that's been just growing astronomically. I think that we're at a time with insurance where it's finally intersecting with technology, and we're starting to see a lot of tech get implemented into insurance, whereas otherwise it's been a largely paper-based analog industry that hasn't seen a lot of innovation outside of perhaps the way people are marketed to in the past. And so what we're seeing is everything from new software solutions that automate processes for existing insurance carriers to startups trying to be a next generation Geico or a next generation State Farm, a whole new carrier for a new generation. And so it's a really exciting time.
And what about the blockchain? Have you noticed that startups are starting to use the blockchain in insurtech?
I'm personally not seeing it as much in and around insurance, but I mean, all you have to do is kind of open the Wall Street Journal or anything else to see 10 articles on blockchain right now. And it's funny, I believe last time I was with you, we were talking about blockchain, and it's certainly come a long way since then. But you could see how it will have applications in insurance for sure.
I just read one of the newsletters that comes out to me that's marketing, basically, and they're like, oh, and now advertising agencies are going to start using the blockchain. It's just really an Excel sheet online. And I went, gee, that's a simple version of it.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's starting to be pretty pervasive. Yeah.
Well, when you start hearing ad agencies talking about it, that's pretty amazing, I think. Anyway, and why do you think that it's taken so long for the insurance industry to start being hit by disruption? Because there's a lot of money tied up in insurance, and risk is sort of a factor in all our lives, and obviously insurance covers that. Why do you think it's taken so long?
Yeah, so I think up until recently, a lot of the existing carriers probably just didn't pay too much attention to new tech and new innovations that were coming out, and we're at a time now where they're a lot more receptive. I think you can draw a lot of analogies to the way things have kind of played out with financial institutions, the big banks. Just 5 years ago, selling something into a big bank or getting them to pilot a new type of software was really trying to swim against the tide. And now you find that they're way more receptive. They're way more quick to pilot. They're way more quick to actually start piloting and testing things like the blockchain, like you just mentioned. And insurance is just kind of catching up.
I noticed I've got a changes in banking panel in September, and I got all these bank guys to jump on board. I was just surprised.
Yeah. No, of course. A lot of things changing. Yeah.
And so what is the future as far as insurtech goes, as far as you can see?
So, I mean, as an investor, I can only see, as far as probably a year in the future. I think we have a lot of companies that have attracted a lot of venture capital, but there are still a lot of unknowns. There's no doubt that there's been a great deal of innovation, but I think that for a lot of these players, the customer acquisition battle and the real fight with incumbents hasn't happened yet. Once these incumbents start feeling pressure, the Geicos of the world, the State Farms, they're going to fight back. And so it's going to be interesting to see how these disruptive upstarts actually compete with the Geicos of the world that have effectively limitless marketing budgets to play with.
Well, let's hope it benefits the consumer.
Yeah, as long as it benefits the consumer.
And the investors, obviously.
And the investors, yeah.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Joe. It's very good to see you again, and it's great to have you on the panel. I'm glad that you were able to contribute.
No, of course. Thank you for having me.